Hey everybody, you're listening to the Wombo Podcast. I am Mr. Gimpy, and as always, I am with Chipped Monk. How's it going, brother?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing fantastic, man. Feeling good, living that good life. How about you? How's everything on your end?
Living that good. I'm doing great, dude. I beat the final campaign of Shovel Knight. The whole game was fantastic. And I was up way too late playing Final Fantasy. So,
You've been grinding out stuff. Levels. Oh, I know, bro. Like you showed up all late. You're like, yeah, I slept through 8 different alarms.
I did.
Breakfast, kid peeing on me, the cat sleeping on my face. It was nuts, dude. And I'm like, all right, bro. It sounds like the first half was believable, but then it got a little bit more like you're just making up stuff, bro. Then some clowns and the juggler came by. It was nuts. I was like, are you sure you weren't still dreaming at that point?
An entire circus came through my living room, and I slept
right through it, man. They just left a flyer. That's the only reason I know they came by. Yeah.
It's like the Wizard of Oz, where it's like, and you were there, and you were there.
Absolutely,
it happens, dude. So, what have you been up to, man? What games have you been playing?
I've been playing still Overwatch. I've been playing a ton of that. Those have been going pretty good. I feel a lot more confident in my shots. I've been doing that like Aim-tastic, the aim training. Been doing a little bit of that, and then because I've been streaming Overwatch, like my game that I've been playing for the relaxation is Hearthstone. Now I got back into the sauce
crack.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, our mutual buddy got me into it. He was like, "Hey, man, watch me play some of this," and I was like, "Yeah, all right." And then I was like, "Man, I could play some of this. This looks kind of fun."
Dude.
Like they got this new battleground mode where basically it's kind of like a auto chess. I don't know if you remember auto chess. Like,
yes.
It's kind of the new hotness. Like I think Dota has a version of it. League of Legends had a version of auto chess battler. It basically started kind of as a mod, but now Hearthstone has their auto battler. Basically, it's a slot machine or video poker.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, it's basically video poker where like you get to up your ante every other turn, and it's kind of a traditional style where you're risk reward system. I believe it's called Press Your Luck. I had to look it up last time, and I had to put it like in the. I was like, I can't remember what it's called. I'll put it down there, and I was like, Press Your Luck mechanic. That's what it's called. Where you like keep pressing your luck, like you risk your treasure to get more treasure, or you sell stuff to trade it out, and like you try and like beat the curve.
Yeah.
But I don't. There's definitely some skill involved, but there's definitely a lot of RNG. It's just gambling. But there's enough skill where you could probably place in the top 4.
Yeah.
And as long as you place there, like you tend to get some elo points or whatever. I don't know what they're called. Your little score points at the end.
Okay.
So I'm already catching up to my buddy.
Nice,
like
dude.
I'm destroying these kids. They're like, okay, here's like 1,000 points. And I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll take it.
Stomping. Okay.
So I've been playing that for fun. And it's been fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really get anything out of it. Like it's not, again, because it's like gambling, there's no real challenge here. I just kind of do it to take my mind off other like things in life.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's just pure relaxation. There's like, I would have the same if I was just playing slot machines straight up and down. And I do have straight slot machines on my mobile phone now. Cause I was like, hey man, let me get all these slots. Yeah. Just these straight free slots. So I've been doing the poker stars for that, and like that shit will keep you from actually gambling ever again in your life, because like you see like just with the virtual coins, like how fast your bankroll gets drained out, and you're like, oh, this is all just a scam. The house always wins.
If I remember right, that starts you off with like something ridiculous, like 300,000 chips or whatever, right? Something stupid.
Yeah. And so now I'm down to 0.
And
I was up to like 4 million. And now I'm down to 0, dude. Like
that's every gambler story. I was winning at some point. I was up $900. I was up $1,000, and then I played it back. I should have left.
I should have left while I was ahead.
Should have been gone. Yeah, that's the gambler's fallacy, dude. I love it. I love it. That's awesome, man.
I don't know. So I think I'm pretty sure I uninstalled it because that thing will hit you with notifications every 10 seconds. It's like, hey, How
Yeah.
about gambling right now? And you're like, I'm busy. Like,
When we had our last poker night, it's like reignited my love for poker. So I did install Poker Stars on a phone for a bit and did a
they
couple of
got us,
tournaments
man.
there. And then you're right, the notifications was just like this, and I uninstalled it and never looked back. But then I do have Poker Stars VR, so I have been known to jump in, sit at a table with some random
Yeah.
people, and just play it.
I
Man.
gotta say, like, when we set that up, they do have some cool tools to set up, like, with just like your buddies, where you can like be like, oh, I just want my friends at these tables and like like run a tournament.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's really nice that
yeah,
they have
yeah.
that stuff built in.
It's definitely.
Especially right now, when like nobody's like really wanting to like everyone like there's people states apart or whatever, and like everybody's sitting at home or staying at home or trying to stay safe or whatever. It's like you just play virtual,
Yeah,
get a group of people going. Like that's always fun.
I will say, since we have friends in different states and things like that.
Got hosts in different area codes.
Different area codes.
Hey man, you can't sing any more
Yeah,
than that. We're gonna
yeah,
have to
yeah,
pay
yeah.
money.
You're right. You're right. But um, I find myself just when we're playing, it's not just a competitive game we're playing, right? It'll be something more casual, just even something as like
Yeah,
poker or like Jackbox or something, just to chill, and I feel like Poker Stars has that, or just gambling games in general. Because I know we kind of shit on some gambling games, and I've been on record saying gambling, like the slow drip of euphoria, doesn't really work for me, and it
yeah,
doesn't. But something like blackjack or poker, I enjoy the strategy of it, and I really enjoy just sitting around and shooting the shit with people, with friends
yeah.
and with people in different states and things like that. It's
I've
you do
definitely
it
said
few and
as
far
like
between.
I've gotten older, I look more at video games as just like a chat room interface to talk with my buddies. I don't really play the games
Yeah,
necessarily to like for the enjoyment of the games, just because I've played like every type of game almost at this point where
yeah,
uh the novelty of are like I also don't feel like I'm gonna be the best at the world at any game. Like I'm like some like I don't have that. I feel like there's like a lot of younger people like I'm gonna be the best at this game. So they like really go try hard. They're like, I gotta learn all the strategies and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm good. Like I'll do my aim trainer. So I'm not the worst person on the team, but
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna be like calling out stuff. Like we had this dude in Overwatch, he started calling out plays like it was like a football game. Dude, he's like, Blue Thunder, we're running Blue Thunder, go up, go up. I was like,
Blue
what the fuck
Thunder.
is blue? Yeah. It was nuts, dude. I was like, this guy's going super try hard. Like,
I make up random ass play names a lot of the times.
yeah.
I was like, all right, guys, Kansas City Shuffle, and just fucking make it up as I go. But especially playing
I said
Valorant, I was like,
Kansas
all right,
City
boy.
Shuffle 42, 42. Come on.
Uh,
Why did you not? Why was site B open, bro? I said 47 blue Kansas City Shuffle.
there's one
To start raging.
there's a map on Valorant where you can like go through teleporters to different sides of the map and things like that. So I randomly called it the Whirly Bird, and then it was like Whirly Bird never fails. Everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't know. It works, man. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, dude, I get that, and I feel like a lot of people, especially now with like how online play has just become such a normal thing, a lot of people have the Pokemon theme song just playing in their head, like whatever game they're playing, it's just go for it. But yeah, it's been
I
good,
will
man.
be the very best.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
dude.
all you can sing. Yeah, that's all you can sing because of the
That's
DLC.
it. Yeah,
That's it. That's the one.
that's what they're thinking in their head.
So how have you worked on Generic Quest at all in the last couple of weeks?
No, I've been working on my schedule because I've been trying to upload content to YouTube. I've been working on those shorts, and this has been
Yes.
going really well. I feel like I'm actually like making some momentum, but it seems so random, like with the way the algorithm works, where it's like some of the videos I put out will get like 100 views, and then some will just get 3 views, and I'm like, but why though? Like, there's no. So I don't know. I've been testing out different things, different theories. It seems like comments, likes are really big on that. So like if you can get like somebody to like your video, like when it's on the short feed, that's huge. Where it'll promote it more. I think they do
Yeah.
a lot of A/B testing, but so I've
Yeah.
been in that world. I've been looking at like analytics, like where are people tuning off? Like how can I make this crazier
But your
and like
short's
make
like 10 seconds long, right? Where they're turning off like 3 seconds in.
yeah, dude. Like
Shit.
It's the way it goes, dude. The people have a 3-second attention span. It's like shorter than a goldfish, according to some studies that are, it's probably fake science or whatever, but whatever.
That's fake
Like,
science.
it seems right, dude, based on like uh just how sad like the numbers are, like when you start looking at things, like when I just put like a simple like, hey, like this, like that worked. I was like, I can't believe I have to tell people just to like this video, dude. Like it is like, I'm so disappointed in humanity where it's like you think people would just like things that they enjoy, or like, I don't know, it's weird to
It's
treat it like.
it's that if every single person on YouTube does it, right? I think at some point it's not it becoming the norm is because it works, right? It's one of those things where
Like, yeah,
condition people to do it. Like you hear it,
the
and they
call
do
to
it.
action. Yeah,
Exactly. So
that
yeah,
shit works, dude. Advertising works. So I've
it
been
does.
working on a schedule because of the YouTube endeavors, and I've been looking at Sunday as like my game development day, I think.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how much time I'm actually going to spend on it. Like, I think after I'm done with generic quests, I think I'm taking another break from game making, but you wouldn't know it based on how many breaks I take in between each of my games.
it's all right,
Because
man.
I'll,
That's like a
yeah,
6 year break. Let's be honest. Like, you're good.
yeah.
uh,
So I think I'm going to try and finish that. I'm going to probably put it out somewhere. Like, originally, it was just going to be for me just to play like I'm in my living room and like enjoy it. But I'm like,
mhm.
yeah, it would be so easy to like create that executable and, and just throw it up online for people. So
Yeah,
I think I'll definitely probably try and get that figured out. My schedule's been pretty good. I've been keeping like Saturday mostly open. I usually do editing then, and then Sunday was like just my day to chill.
yeah,
Uh, but I wouldn't mind spending like, even if it was like 2 or 3 hours, that's progress. Like, I think blocking out any chunk of time. I've been getting up in the morning, still working out, just walking. So I've been
yeah.
sticking to that. I've been keeping it on a calendar. I've been doing little hash marks every day, like I'm in prison, or I'm just like another day, another hour of walking done.
Yeah. Just mark it on
And
yourself like Zaz from Batman.
absolutely. Yeah, so I don't know. There's something to that as well. Like, where I'm talking smack about like calls to action and stuff, and people like being conditioned to like the like and subscribe on stuff when people ask for it. But like, there's something about like if you have a calendar and like you have like a lot of progress like for days in a row, you're like,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't even feel like it, but I don't want that blank spot there. Like, it's weird. It's like a weird
that Pavlovian
pressure.
response, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
a
works,
little
man.
pressure. And like I have missed some days, like I've been sick and stuff, and
Yeah,
other days where I'm just like way too tired. I'm just like, yeah, I could do this, but I'm rather just rest. It's probably better if I just rest today.
understood.
So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think like you said, just kind of keeping like a healthy outlook on things, and like even if you push pause on something, it's not forgotten. Like, you're gonna get back to it, and like that's okay.
yeah, yeah. There's for my stealth game that I'm working on.
Yeah, man.
I think maybe I
Jean
didn't.
Claude Van Damme sneaking
Yes,
stealth,
yes. I am
split and slit.
I'm making I think I said I had a walk cycle and things ready for the character. I cleaned that up a lot. Read and looked at a lot of tutorials on top down animating and top down drawing, because everything I've ever done has been from a 2D perspective, like a
Yeah,
side view. So I've never done anything from like a top down or even an isometric style.
yeah,
So I've
three
been learning.
fours.
Yeah, so I've been learning a lot about that, which has been fun actually. It's something that I didn't think, even though I made games, right? But I was a big fan of like platformers and stuff, so I never thought I'd need this, and I always
Yep.
would get like someone else doing the art. But so this is just a full solo project. Like the placeholder art will probably be the just main art. So I was just like, yeah, might as well perfect this.
Are
So
you using humans? Are they humanoid characters?
oh, it's definitely stylized, but yes,
Okay.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just,
So
it's
mhm.
an open possibility space. So they could be monsters, they could be robots, they could
Yes,
be circles and squares and shit, dude. Like,
yeah,
sky's
yeah.
the limit.
Yeah, so I got a walk cycle for the main character. I got the sneaking cycle, so uh, you can actually press up against the wall and you'll
Does
like
the
back
main
against
character
it.
have a name?
No, no, not at this point.
May I suggest chipped monk?
You can't suggest that. Your suggestion will go into advisement.
So like just like a trash bin, you just put it in.
You're
like, I'll go right to advisement. You like open up a drawer, then close it, and then throw it in the bin right next to it.
Exactly. But I have a life cycle for that. I got 2 enemies just actually drawn it in the game now. They're patrolling. I haven't really done any programming. It's mostly art this week. But the enemies are patrolling. They will, if they have line of sight, they will look and pursue. But I haven't done any tweaking yet. So slow progress, but any progress is good progress, right? So
yeah. Are you using that same room camera that I saw you build out that one time? Like
actually, yes. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure I was like maybe a different camera. It was like such a modular system. I was like, you did so much work on that. I would hate to like see you try and reinvent the wheel. I'm like, bro, you already had like a really good camera system. And you're like, yeah, I just tossed that, started a new one. And I'm like, all right, well.
Yeah, no, that camera system that you saw me work on, that was early summer, wasn't it? I feel. Yeah. So I
just dabbling around. So you're like, oh, I'm just playing around. I'm trying to get back into game making. I was like, check out this camera system I've been working. I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So I use that camera system I made. So I'm excited for it. I'm trying to stick to this timeline that I set myself to show everyone in October, kind of the progress that I'm making, and I don't know if we'll get to just true gameplay yet, but we'll at least have an update. On the YouTube version of the pod, so I'm excited for it, man. So
like we're trying to. I feel like the podcast has been keeping us more accountable to ourselves.
I think too, like not only accountability, but we're talking about games and the industry so much, where it's like every aspect of it. I'm like I want more. Like in my day-to-day life, like even when I'm playing games, like I always look at a lot of games from with the developer hat. But now that we're talking about it so often, the hat's a lot tighter, So, so it's been good. It's been good.
Yeah, I've definitely been like still like jotting down notes and stuff like on my phone. Like every time like I come up with like different ideas, I'm like, oh, let me add this to my idea pile. And like even today, like while I was like at the gym, I was like thinking of like several different things for like video editing. I was like, oh, I should write this down. I was like, oh, I'll remember, and I didn't. So
you should have wrote it down.
Yeah, I should have wrote it down.
Moral of that story. Yeah, dude. So I'm actually really excited about something that it's so funny, man. I feel like whenever we bring up a topic on the podcast, a few weeks later, something in the industry happens where it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So what was it? 2, maybe 3 pods ago, I spoke about Doom Eternal and them dropping the ball on their proposed invasion mechanic, where someone was playing to the single player and another player could invade that person's single player world and try and wreck their shit, kind of like the most famously done by Dark Souls. Yeah, but the Dark Souls invasion mechanic in a first-person shooter, I thought would be fantastic and do gangbusters. And I'm one night I'm up pretty late, right? And the little game called Deathloop was launching. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, this game wasn't really on my radar, but everyone seems to be pretty excited about it, and it's getting great review scores right before launch. I'm like, okay, what's it about?
I've never even heard of this game.
Exactly. I feel like every trailer and things and like media released for the game, Arkane Studios is consistently trying to explain what the fuck the game is. So the best way I can describe it is they call it like an immersive sim. So we spoke about like Deus Ex and things like that, like the OG one, Cruelty Squad being another. And so let me try and subscribe. It's Hitman, Deus Ex, and Back to the Future rolled into a ball and made video game. I know. It's so strange.
Doesn't make sense. All right, so do you play the Hitman from the future and you're going back to the past? Or is it kind of like
you're like
you're in the past and you're going to the future,
but also going back to the past? So your mission is to assassinate.
You're Marty McFly.
Yes. So your goal is to assassinate these targets, So and you do it however you can, and then there's like a time limit as well, but you use time to your advantage, so you can like have temporal distortions to be in multiple places at once. It's so fucking mind-blowing, and the fact that Arkane Studios was able to deliver on this is fucking incredible, dude. It's so hard to explain that I understand there's troubles with the press releases now.
Was it like the game with the Jonathan Blow made? You know what I'm talking about?
Braid.
Yeah, is it kind of like Braid with the time mechanic, or is it more like Super Meat Boy?
No,
where like at the end, it's like you see like all these different possibilities where you died and stuff.
You have that, but it's not quite. It's such a amalgam, dude. Where
yeah,
if you mention a game with a time mechanic, yes, the answer is yes. All right. But so this game wasn't on my radar, and then one thing when I was reading a review caught my eye. Someone is trying to invade your world to assassinate you, and I'm like, wait a second. Sure enough, Arkane Studios implemented. So it's either an AI that will invade you trying to impede your project progress, right? But not all the time. You can have a person invade your single player game disguised as an NPC, I believe, and hunt your ass down.
Have you done this? Have you gone into other people's worlds?
No, not yet. So I was going to get the game on so it's on PS5 or PC, right? I've just watched streams of it so far. So PC, they're using, and this is so unfortunate, they're using Denuvo.
The fuck is Denuvo?
It's the anti-piracy DRM. They're using it on so it is known to like fuck with CPU cycles and stuff, so the game has stuttering issues. They're working on a fix, and so I was thinking about getting it on PS5, and lo and behold, it's actually sold out at the store when I went. So I was like, I want it on PC, but if the piracy,
do they have a digital PS5 version that can you get from the PlayStation Store?
That's my thing though. I like physical copies.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so I won't.
You have a whole library. You have a whole shrine. You're building.
Yep.
You want to be buried with all your PlayStation
Bury
games.
Me with all my stuff, because it's mine.
Like an Egyptian king.
Exactly. So that's funny. Speaking of that, I told my wife not to bury, just to have me stuffed and placed in a mausoleum, so I could just sit there.
Just you and your cat and all your PlayStation games.
Exactly. But yeah, so that's unfortunate with the Denuvo piracy things. Like, the industry keeps using this program, and everything gets cracked in the first like 2-3 weeks, but their logic is you have 2-3 weeks of legitimate sales. I'm like, that's such a backwards ass way of thinking, but I mean,
they do make a lot of their money in those first couple of weeks, like for new titles especially.
Yes.
So if you just add like just that little hindrance, like I haven't looked at the numbers, but I'm assuming it's probably like a 7-8% bump, like overall.
I'm sure it's enough to warrant it on the business end. So, and I know like
I'm telling you, bro, just much like the like, subscribe, share button, dude. Like it's so annoying. You have to do it. Like even like on those like 5-second clips, dude. I'm like, all right, I gotta throw this in here somehow. I gotta figure out how to fit this stupid call to action in like the first little bit, because like it makes such a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between like nobody seeing it and like thousands of people seeing like something, like.
Yeah.
And like hopefully this game can get some hype behind it, because it sounds like it's doing a lot of things right.
Oh my god, it's so
it's already sold out, like you said. Like
it was sold out at the Target near me. So I'm gonna try and I think I'm gonna try and get it again today after the pod. I think I'm gonna eat some breakfast and go out and see if they have it like a Best Buy or a different Target. Because before I was just with the kids, so I just was like, I'm already in the store. Let's see if it's here. Whoop, sold out. I'm like, damn, good for them. So I gotta apologize to Arkane Studios, dude. I was fucking sleeping on them after the first Dishonored. I'm just like, yeah, that was pretty fun, right? Never went to play Dishonored 2. Was impressed with the level design, and
people like Dishonored, bro. That's a great game. Like, it's a good franchise. Like,
it
wasn't not for me. It felt like too much like every other gunmetal gray shooter out there.
But it's the stealth that they did was so interesting. You're right, but they also
but like just on the box, and I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah. They also handled the reboot of Prey which I slept on. And so when I was looking at Deathloop, I'm like, Arkane Studios, they made Dishonored. What else did they make, right? I slept on the Prey reboot, which is fucking System Shock, dude. They basically made System Shock 3. And me, like, System Shock 2 and 1 and 2 are one of my favorite games ever, and I've been waiting like every other fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry for like over 20 years for a System Shock 3, and there's remakes happening from Night Dive Studios. And I, when some of the OGs went and made BioShock, I fucking ate that shit up. And Prey, the reboot for Prey, was basically fucking System Shock 3, and I slept on it. So I'm like watching this retrospective video on Prey, and I'm like, God damn, what the fuck is wrong with me? Why did I sleep on this? So I stopped that video to not get spoiled, and I went and picked up Prey. So I'm gonna start playing through that.
Man. You're going down a whole rabbit hole, dude.
But here's the thing too, Arkane Studios, their fucking eye for level design in a first-person space and using their gameplay to like elevate the game is so fucking good, dude.
Are they the French studio? Is that who I'm thinking of?
I don't think they're French. I'm honestly not sure. I didn't look into it. They were.
I'm gonna throw this out here.
So they're underneath Microsoft's banner, and I have a. Go ahead.
I'm gonna just throw this out. I think they're the studio that was like offered Portal to make it, or like the Half-Life story mode or some shit. I want to say they're a French studio. And I think they got like offered like a bunch of like weird projects from Valve at one point, and they're like, "Yeah, here you go. Here's like a Half-Life game." And then the Valve was like, "Nah, we just decided not to make it instead."
No, they are French. They are French. You're right. So they were underneath Bethesda.
Yeah, I want to say that they have a good documentary somewhere on YouTube where it's like them getting like the Half-Life game that would have been made. It was like something like that. These vague recollections of like they walk through and like show like, yeah,
you're right.
Dude.
So they were the studio.
I know, because I remember them talking about level design in that, and I was like, I cared more about the Half-Life franchise at that, and I was like, huh, this is interesting. And then they were talking about like how they go about designing scenes and sets and stuff in that like YouTube video, and it's really good. It's worth watching. But like they definitely take into consideration like the environment as a character.
Yes. So they were the studio that was working on the Ravenholm spin-off game, and those of you who've played Half-Life 2 know that Ravenholm is one of, if not the standout event in Half-Life 2. So much fucking shit is really good with Ravenholm, and the fact that Valve is working with Arkane to damn, dude, that's some good knowledge, man. You don't always hit us with some some facts, but you did.
Don't sleep time, like dude. I just been
fucking...
getting up, walking, dude, getting the blood flowing. I'm like, wait a minute, like the little neurons are firing off. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is right. I was like, I'm just gonna make a bold statement. And like sometimes they hit hard, bro.
you hit me right in the fucking mind's eye, dude. I'm gonna look into that. It's insane. But yeah, dude, I just want to publicly apologize to Arkane Studios. I slept on you guys, man, and I'm an idiot. I can't believe how much gold they've been spinning, and they made like a. It's like the new Prey game was like immediately up my alley. I'm like looking at it. I'm like, this is fucking System Shock. And then I'm like listening to an interview from one of them. They're like, well, System Shock was one of our big influences on this. I'm like, motherfuckers, like let's go. This is it.
Yeah, they've had like a lot of like really unfortunate like shakes at the stick, a lot of bad publisher deals and stuff too that have hurt
before the Bethesda
and they
acquisition or ZeniMax.
Yeah, and they talk about it about all that in like that documentary. But it's like the guy who like runs a stupid like yeah they've been getting slept on, and they've been getting like a lot of raw deals, but like they consistently put out amazing video games, amazing level design, great team. They're really cool, super French. Can't state that enough.
Yeah. So damn, dude, that's awesome. Man, I just looked up that documentary you're talking about. I'm just gonna add that on.
Mind-boggling.
It really is.
How did Chip know?
Chip isn't always just talking out of his ass, everybody.
You hit me with this new game though. Like that sounds like I might look into getting it for Steam when they figure out the
de novo shit.
Yeah, the de novo situation. Like, I'm gonna definitely put that on like maybe a wish list, because let's be real. Like in the days of always on sale pricing. I'm probably just gonna wait till like Black Friday
Black
or
Friday,
Christmas.
or
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll just add it to my wish list and I'll be like, all right, yeah, it's $5 off. Now it's worth it somehow.
true. True. So here's the interesting thing with that game. Speaking of raw publishing deals and things like that. So as we all know, and I believe we've covered on the pod at least a little bit, Microsoft bought Bethesda.
Yeah.
Bethesda had underneath their umbrella, including id Software, Machine Games, and Arkane Studios. So Arkane Studios already had a contract for Deathloop. It's a PS5 exclusive. So the game, like, it's a Microsoft Studios game released exclusively for PC and PS5 with a year's time frame to be released on the Xbox. Isn't that ridiculous?
Ah,
Like just how that worked out. So right now we have an
that's cool.
Xbox Studios game on the only console it's on is on PS5. I find that just super funny and like what the fuck.
I
But
mean, like we're
deals are
seeing
deals.
Final Fantasy games finally coming over to Xbox as well, and like those were first party Sony exclusives for a long time. Like I know Square Enix signed like a crazy contract with them, like
Yeah,
at one
that's
point.
man, we've covered that too. That's Nintendo's biggest failing is not maintaining the good working relationship with Square, because that was one of the things that really put the nail in the coffin to get the Sony PlayStation just some clout in the world. It was because their
Yeah,
disc-based system and Final Fantasy 7. It's unreal how big that game was, and in its own right, Final Fantasy 8 as well, when they introduced realistically proportioned characters and things. So
yeah.
yeah, dude. So it's incredible. Speaking of Microsoft, we might be covering something next week. They're rumored to be doing another really big studio acquisition. Um,
I mean, they pretty much have to at this point. Like with, they seem to have gone all in on their Game Pass
yes,
at this
yes,
point, and they might even be transitioning away from physical hardware. I could see them trying to
that's
do that.
always been the rumor, and
I mean, they've
I
been doing this for a while.
yeah,
Like, I could see them instead of an Xbox, you just have a Microsoft box
yeah.
where it's like Windows 11 or 12, and like it plays games. Like, it just simplifies like the interface, and it's like all maybe gesture based or something. Because I've always felt that they might as well integrate that stuff already. Me personally, as an old man, where I'm like, how come I can't get my Microsoft calendar on here and my emails? I want to be able to check my emails and my calendar.
It's because
I
everyone
want,
uses Google, bro.
I mean, you know,
Yeah,
I mean, they have the App Store. Maybe they could do something for that. But
yeah.
me personally, I was like, this doesn't make sense. I was like, how come I can't just open up like a Word pad in here and like use the microphone to like dictate out like a quick memo or something?
So
Uh,
the studios rumored are uh, Konami, which we've discussed.
I could.
Uh,
The people have been saying that they want them to dump their game
yeah,
IPs, like they're
so
Silent
yep,
Hill, Metal Gear, like they're like free the games. Konami, stop
Castlevania.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, Castlevania,
yeah. The other studio, and I'm gonna list the most
Blades of Steel.
crazy one last, but another studio, Sega. Um,
Okay, I feel like Sega's been on already went through like one bankruptcy, and they're already basically just a licensing company. Like the Sega of America, I want to say it's like a dozen people or something, like working out of a broom closet at this point. But they've teamed up with fans and stuff. They've put a lot of good. They've done a lot of community work and building
yes,
up like a positive brand image.
yes,
Where like they've embraced like fan games. They've embraced like some of like the more ridiculous nature of like the Sonic memes.
yep.
They've put out new games that are more old school that people enjoy, and they've really embraced like that model. They've constantly licensing out things on like the Steam store and stuff. So uh, they've done a lot of hard work since the downfall with the Dreamcast.
And the final uh, rumored studio, which I can't believe this. Take Two, who parent company of stuff like Rockstar. They have the 2K like video game series, like the basketball, and
I
and
don't think they can afford Take Two. Like,
that's how I was like. Because I was like Rockstar alone is like $1 billion company. But then
I
didn't
mean,
they buy Bethesda for like 3.5 or something like that $1 billion? Or I can't remember the exact sales
I
price, but it
guess,
was
and like
the
right now,
biggest
like
acquisition ever.
this is what I've been telling people this, kind of tongue in cheek, but it's also serious. Is like right now is like the best time with the most opportunities. If you're into business, if you're an entrepreneur, they're basically giving away money for free. Like banks are loaning people money at like 1% or a quarter percent, like on these like 100 million deals. Like you can get like special interest rates. You can get like bonds. You can get bonds issued for basically nothing. Uh, so if you can leverage a large amount of like debt for like basically zero interest, like you should do that because like you're going to definitely make gains on any sort of acquisition you make. I mean, if you know what you're doing, like if you're already at that level, you know,
We are not tax professionals or anything else. Just that little disclaimer,
consult
but
like
right.
an attorney or whatever. But like if you're a business person, like now's a great time to be in business. I want to say like some of the top 500 companies all came to being like during the Great Depression. Uh, so there's that.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like your
that's
Johnsons and Johnsons and like this sort of thing. Uh,
right. Right. That's hmm, yeah. You
'Cause
got a
they
point
already
there.
yeah, you have to learn how to do things like on a leaner budget. You have to like target specifically what people need or want and like help get that to them, like facilitate like these type of things.
Yeah.
So I know Microsoft I think also has like 5 billion in cash reserves too.
Right.
So
It's something ridiculous. Yeah.
yeah.
So, so with that being said, back to Arkane Studios. Congratulations on Deathloop's launch, guys. The reviews are incredible. The game looks incredible. And and you did what I wanted id Software to do, and the fact that you guys are under the same umbrella, and you did it first, and now implementing that Dark Souls like invasion system is going to be like yes, it's like Dark Souls, and now it's like Deathloop. So hats
Yeah.
off, and that got me thinking, man. Is there any other like a game you can think of that took a mechanic from another one and did it in a different genre, but just to try
I
and
mean,
elevate that?
well, I kind of touched a little bit on like right at the jump, like that Hearthstone battleground mode is basically auto chess, right? Like they definitely elevated it. They made it its own thing, and it's I would say not necessarily better, but different and fun. So like, and you could also say the same thing about like you know H1Z1 where Fortnite kind of like took all that with the lawsuit, against Epic Games because they were working on the netcode for PUBG and Player Unknown. That's the
Ah,
username of
yes,
the guy who
yes,
made the original mod uh, for Arma, which is the H1Z1. Those two guys who like worked on that mod, one went off to make H1Z1, the other one went on to make PUBG. As he was working on PUBG, they had like infamously bad netcode issues, and so they paid uh, Epic Games to come in and like, hey, help us work out this netcode. Also, only a couple months later, they dropped Fortnite, and they're like, hey, what the fuck, bro? And then
yes,
like if you look at like the original like blueprint for Fortnite too, it was like a zombie survival game. It had
yes.
zero to do with like a battle royale thing. So it's like I ain't no lawyer, but this is interesting. But they
So
definitely took a lot of those mechanics and then added them to a zombie survival with build mechanics, and it elevated the whole genre, the whole game. But like having good netcode and like a stylized feel to it also adds a lot too.
yes, yes. So the interesting thing with the PUBG thing is they asked Epic to help because the Unreal Engine was really shit at scaling.
Yeah,
So it wasn't just the netcode, but it was actually rendering that many players on one big open world was a huge fucking issue, and
yeah,
they couldn't get around it. So Epic actually, this is so funny because this is what that lawsuit was based on. Epic released an update to help with this rendering issue for large scale multiplayer oriented worlds, and it was going to help MMOs. It was going to help the BRs like PUBG, but they had that code on Fortnite first for I believe it was a period of 3 months. And that was the big gripe that led to the guys behind PUBG, Bluehole, which I think is called PUBG Corp now, to sue Epic because they're like, this is unfair. So,
suspicious. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's a great example. And I thought Brendan Green worked on or Player Unknown worked on H1Z1 and then left to do PUBG.
I
I
think he
thought
might
I
have.
thought he
It's
was
definitely
yeah.
seemed like they sold
I thought it
that
was just him.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they sold it, and then he moved on to work on his own thing. And I think like he got a sense after that acquisition that they were no longer interested in improving the game, and they were just
Yes.
interested in like selling cosmetics. And that game needed a lot of work, so he's like, "All right, we're gonna go start over
Fuck it,
someplace
new
from the
game.
ground up." Yeah,
He's also has since left PUBG in the game. The game still bears his gamer tag, and he's long
yeah.
gone. I think they
Good
they
for him, man. That guy's
eh,
a smart guy. Really hit on like some gold there, and uh, got every penny it's worth, dude. Like he left nothing on the table, man. Like that's what you hope would happen too. Like you don't want people like getting like screwed over and stuff. And like from my understanding, every time like you start a big company, every time you take in seed money,
yes,
they're taking your company. They want your company. Like they don't
yes.
want you in charge anymore. They want whatever your company is. They want the parts of it.
That
Uh,
is the Shark Tank motto. That's why the sharks from Shark Tank will offer like the cash you want for a larger percent. So
yeah,
that way they can have something to build on to keep going. Yeah. Some people just make companies with the intention to sell, though.
yeah.
So that's a definite.
I feel like when you get to that like 3-4x size, like you need to consider like your exit strategy.
Yeah.
Some people don't. I know like the guy who started Snapchat, like they're very interested in like that company and that brand, and like they notoriously hold like controlling shares, and like they refuse to ever get rid of them.
Hmm.
So there are exceptions to the rule, but that's usually not the rule. Usually, like what happens is like IBM, where like it started by like a husband and wife, and then slowly they like get rid of like the husband, and then like they get rid of the wife, and
Yeah.
then they like like they slowly take over after, and they take more and more control by like the board, and like they try and turn you against like your partners and stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
So
and you get rewarded like monetarily for those things, but like it's still kind of to understand it's like part of the business literally is
yes.
like getting creatives out of the space that made the product or industry big. They're like, oh, we gotta get the person who had the big vision out of here, because now the vision's like, now we're just trying to get that vision running 5% better year after year
And
to get more profits.
that's true, and that's a great leeway into another really good example of a studio taking a gameplay style and improving upon it elsewhere. Dota All Stars, right? Like
Yeah.
that split. The two main developers known for this. One went to Valve. The other, started Riot Games, or I can't remember how that exactly went down, but and well, oh, there's three, right? Because it split to three. So it was Riot for League of Legends. It was Valve for Dota 2, and then it was what is that? What is that third? Han, Heroes of New Earth. Heroes of New Earth. That's what it was the other, and I believe Han was like the closest to Dota as well,
Okay.
and but also the least adopted. League of Legends probably had the highest adoption rate because of, I think they were really good at character design, right? And
That
their
helps.
art
Yeah.
style was very friendly.
It was
Uh,
also free to play. They made it
yes,
run basically on anything.
yeah.
Like their target market was like people who are still playing StarCraft, the first one. They're like, how can we make this run on those computers and like have good net play?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what they did. And they've been slowly upgrading the look of that game over time. Like it looks nice, and like it looks how you think, but if you actually go back and look at it, it looks like absolute asshole. Like go look at like those
From when it
first,
first launched.
yeah,
Yeah.
like those first like few years. Like it wasn't like a little bit of time. It was like 7 or 8 years. The thing looked like absolute garbage. It looked bad at the time it came out, and it was just fun to play. And you're like, yeah, whatever. It's a small download. Now it's a huge
Now it's a
download and
huge
it looks
no.
nice. Yeah, there's full of potentially interesting protectors that
Yes.
people say are possibly watching you all the time, or mining using your computer to mine coins for you know Chinese
Because the
hackers,
Tencent,
limb
yeah.
file.
So it's incredible, like how, but that also leads to it can lead to competition, which leads to growth of a genre, which leads to more eyes on the industry as a whole. I will give now probably my favorite example of this phenomenon of gameplay styles being aped by another company and done better, or let's say not quite. Do you remember a little game called Street Fighter?
Yeah,
So when
Capcom,
yes, so when
a
Street
little
Fighter,
indie upstart.
little indie upstart Capcom in the late '80s. Post Street Fighter 2, uh, Capcom split. A lot of people from Capcom wanted to make another fighting game. They didn't want to. They didn't have the same ideas for Street Fighter 2 as what it became, right? So these guys went to SNK. They might have formed SNK. I can't quite remember. I think SNK was around first, but then a little game called Fatal Fury came out, or was it Art of Fighting first? Whichever one. But if you look at the archetype of Ryu versus Ryo, the fact that they both have the same moveset, just tweaked slightly, it's incredible. So that rivalry basically formed modern day fighting games, the SNK Capcom rivalry, and it came because people split from after Street Fighter 1 and Street Fighter 2 to make this new fighting game juggernaut that led to Fatal Fury, Art of Fighting, eventually to King of Fighters. So
Yeah.
And King of Fighters and like the Street Fighter series, if you notice King of Fighters, like how they handle projectiles, it's mostly ground based. A lot like the protagonists, all of their projectiles like will be fired coming up from the ground and sliding through the level. Street Fighter, it's aerial based. And their combo systems are handled differently, but the reason why something like Capcom versus SNK worked so damn well is because they were bred from the same seed,
Yeah.
So combining like Terry Bogard and Ken Masters was just duh, because they're like stepbrothers or whatever, honestly. So
Yeah.
that led to competition, which led to the industry and the fighting game boom of the arcades growing. So it happened, dude. It's one of those things where I think if you're the first one to be a copycat and you do it well, you are providing healthy competition, and you're going to grow your genre. And I think that going back to Arkane Studios, they're the first studio that took the invasion piece in an FPS environment from Dark Souls and did it well. So I think we're going to see this mechanic.
Take your own spin, don't.
Yeah.
Just because something exists doesn't mean that you shouldn't take a crack at it and put like your own unique idea on it. Like nobody's going to rewrite that story the way you would, or tell that the way you would, or like the characters the way like you would create those characters. Like we said about like League of Legends, where it's like a lot of it was just style and personality of the characters that really help like get like deeper, memorable, and like that's easy to say, like, oh, just make a unique idea with memorable characters and like a really fun gameplay. But yeah,
Yes.
like it's taking inspiration from the things that you love and then like putting your own French twist on it. Uh, you know,
A shout out to Arkane there.
yeah,
but yeah, man, they're the first Me Too in the FPS space, and I'm intrigued on where this will go, because I think that Dark Souls definitely started something, and they're not even the first person to do something like this, really, right? Because I guess with just pure invasions probably they are, but the concept, because wasn't it in Diablo, like you could be like the PvP, you could actually go into the dungeons and fight bosses and shit too, right?
yeah.
And the PvP just kind of went with it. So something man, I need water. But something's been done before, but you put your spin on it and see what happens. Like
This might be like, depending if this game like hits really hard or not. Like, there's a lot to this too with like the way that video game interactivity goes with like people streaming and stuff. Like if you can add like that kind of interactivity with like chat or something, like if they could figure out like some sort of like a way to have it connect to your Twitch stream or like, you know, because I know like Amazon, who owns Twitch, kind of already has it where you can connect other game accounts and stuff. I
Yeah.
could see a lot of bigger studios doing stuff like this now, where it's like if you're a streamer, you can be like, "Hey, set invasion on for people in my stream," you know, and then like people who are watching, you can like get into your
They're
game. Like,
legitimately stream sniping you as a
yeah,
gameplay feature. Okay,
yeah,
that's that's pretty great. That would
yeah,
really be awesome for, you know, bigger streamers and things. Even smaller streamers just playing with the small community. That's
yeah, or just like just so you don't have to take in friend codes and add people. Like, no offense to people on stream, but like I don't need like 350 different people like added to like my Overwatch game just because we might play at one point, because then you can get flooded with messages and stuff. Make it where it's like, hey, this is like Twitch invite only, friend invite only,
yeah,
and then like party me up, but instead of like random people from the general unwashed masses, like just people in my chat, allow them to like party up with me for now. And then also give me like features to control that too. Like, so if they're being like crazy or annoying, or like I can mute
yeah,
or block them quickly.
yeah. So
Uh,
it's a great evolution of it. It's a great community evolution.
yeah,
That's an
I
awesome
think like
idea.
these invasion type of games, that's might be an avenue for it. But like I don't know, people have been saying that game streaming's kind of dying as a whole anyway. But you know,
I
it's
think it's just evolving. I don't think it's dying. I think it's
it's
evolving
a
into
different
something else.
podcast, you know.
It's true. That's
You
true.
get into a
That's
whole
true.
other world, but yeah.
Yeah, man. So let's start wrapping up here. So I have to say, you know, the podcast is now we're now in the set time where we are predicting the future. You know,
Oh,
like
the distant
I
future.
ended telling id Software, like they're gonna ever listen to this, but I told them someone else is gonna do this idea because you put it out in the universe, and someone's gonna do it before you did, and you're gonna shoot yourselves in the foot. I think it's here. I think that you know, your brother or sister down the hall took that idea, you know,
Yeah.
and they're
They copied your homework. Like you didn't
yep,
turn it in. Now they're getting all the credit.
yep, yep. And now Doom Eternal's working on horde mode, which it works for that style, and I know a lot of people are who love the single player, just like they don't want any interactivity in multiplayer, but you guys dropped the ball. You guys missed it. You guys missed it
That's
for
fair.
such a great game. You guys fucked up and you missed it.
And let's
Like
be real. Like
Pandemic Be
horde
Damned,
mode
just work on it.
is lazy. Like horde mode is like the laziest game type mode, or like wave mode. Like
I
no, you don't think
agree
it's
to a
lazy?
point. I agree to a point because most implementations of horde mode is lazy as shit. But
Yeah.
Gears of War, who really started that style of gameplay, well, popularized it, I should say, style of gameplay, have definitely done something with it to where it's not lazy. There's a lot to their horde mode. Killing Floor 1 and 2 are basically wave shooters that are based on it with boss fights at the end, and I think they do a lot. The Orcs Must Die series is something that was born out of a pure horde mode thing. Dungeon Defenders as well. I think
Yeah.
games, it's not, when it's tacked on to a game like Mass Effect, for example,
Call
Mass
of
Effect
Duty.
3's like horde mode was just there. Call of Duty had that weird one where I was like specialist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking
It's like
terrible. Yeah, yeah. Their zombies works, I think, but there's another one where they used like the AI. The AI was just like you increasing waves of it. That was really bad. So I think tacking it on lazy, and I think I think id has higher caliber because I don't think it'll be a pure tack on. Maybe they'll do something new with it, but it doesn't sound like it. And the fact that they're going to drop this entire invasion idea for a horde mode that doesn't seem like anyone at the studio was even thinking about working on is worrying. I hope for the best, but expect the worst. You know.
Yeah. Like I
But
said, it's a fairly easy type of mode to implement. It's easy to implement, hard to make fun and like good.
and have longevity, yeah,
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 and
because
have any legs to it.
which is hilarious because like Gears of War 2, which popularized the horde mode, right? Still has people going on and playing it like on OG Xbox. Like that's
Yeah.
still like the horde mode people prefer, which is insane. So well, time will tell. And id Software I think has more credibility than to add a tacked on mode. So like I said, hope for the best, expect the worst. Any final thoughts for yourself, Chip, on this great little topic we call life?
Just keep living it, do your best out there. Keep your eyes open for ideas and like put your own unique spin on different ideas and like write it down, jot it down, do us all a favor. And like, you might have a great idea, you might have a bad idea, and you know, try and figure out how to make the minimal viable product and test it out and see if like you really have something there. And if not, hey, you tried. Just scrap it and move on. Like you want to try like you want to take ambitious, fast-paced movements and try and implement it. And if it doesn't work, like just scrap it and go to the next one because you're gonna have like a ton of great ideas and like you're gonna build stacks. So like you might have like something here and it'll work all right, and then you're like, "Ah, this isn't that great." So you toss it, and then like you'll start building something else. You'll be like, "What'd be perfect for this? That little speck of magic dust I had over here."
Yep, yep. Once again,
Closing thoughts.
you know, don't always ignore the good idea fairy, right?
Yeah.
Like id Software had the good idea fairy, show up at night, and they're like, let's do invasions, but for Doom, because the single player is what people love. But let's add a little component where people can invade the single player world, so we have that great gameplay combined with PvP. Great idea, guys. Let's do it, and then not listen to the good idea fairy. They cited COVID as a excuse for it and the challenges of working remotely, which sure, but everyone had to deal with that, right? Why not keep working on it? And I don't understand.
It's almost like you were never working on it.
Exactly. I don't understand why you wouldn't. If it's taking some time and it's already been almost a year, right? Like I figured it wasn't coming out this year anyway. Like why not just go, hey, we got fucked by COVID like everyone else in the world. We're still working on it, and then release the Horde mode as like a stopgap. Because like you said, Horde is very difficult to do, but if they're doing something different with it, maybe. But yeah. So we'll see.
I wouldn't mind like an invasion co-op mode with friendly fire.
Yeah, that'd be pretty great too. Again, a Dark Souls like staple already, right? Just yeah. So good.
Maybe
shit,
instead of one person, you could have 50 people
for co-op.
Yeah, just invading, dude.
so
just imagine like an alley of just thugs mowing down everybody else, dude. Running 20 deep in the woods, bro, with the homies.
Have you played Serious Sam?
Not the new one, no.
Okay, well, just in general, like maybe play that co-op because that's basically what you want. There's like 8 people, and there's like 1,000 enemies on the screen that you're all mowing down. Like,
nice.
Yeah, good shit. It's 48, I believe. It might have been a mod, but yeah, man, that's our time, brother. That's
it.
It's the combo.
Thanks for
wombo,
stopping by. Like, subscribe, share with 20,000 of your closest friends.
Right, and if you don't have 20,000 friends, just we get them.